Dear learners, in continues to our last session on landscape ecology, in this session we shall talk on landscape ecology and sustainability. And in this session we will touch upon the sustainability landscape interaction and new areas based on sustainability, landscape sustainability science, theoretical foundation of landscape sustainability science, then application of landscape sustainability science. If you look into study material in text, you will not find this particular session about this particular session. It is an update to the latest development in the area of landscape ecology with reference to sustainability science. As we know, the outcomes of 1992 Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro had a profound influence on the development of landscape ecology. And the references to Rio and Agenda 21 are often used as a starting point for working towards the common goal of sustainability. The development of concepts and tools for sustainable landscape planning and the conservation of biodiversity has become important focal points for research activities across. And if you look into the key focus of the Rio Summit, one of the key focus of that summit is the protection of the environment and the search for appropriate forms of social and economic development. And in previous session, video session, we have looked into the growth and genesis of the term sustainability, sustainable development, up to the undergoing sustainable development goal, SDGs 2030. And if you look into the latest SDG with 17 goals, you will find out that all these goals are horizontally interlinked each other. And if we go before, we implement the approach of SDG. And if you go back to Johannesburg Declaration, you will see that the Johannesburg Declaration was to deliver a civil society. That means to promote human dignity by the elimination of poverty and emphasize the importance of partnership and solidarity. Again, when we talk about environment and sustainability, you will not be able to achieve environment sustainability without the sustainability of social and economic system. So you will find, this is how you will find the horizontal interrelation of different SDGs. It is also clear that when we talk about sustainability, it is more comprehensive and interdisciplinary, and sustainability is an anthropocentric concept that focuses on meeting human needs of the current and future generation within the limits of the environment. But humans have many needs that vary with socioeconomic status, cultural tradition, and individual lifestyles and preferences. Then what are these needs? Are they all equally important to well-being? If you look theoretically, it is desirable to have all our needs met, but in reality, this never happens. Then, what are the kinds of needs that we must meet in the context of sustainable development? So, addressing this question often invokes the hierarchy of human needs developed by Maslow. You have a detailed discussion on the hierarchy of human needs developed by Maslow in one of the previous sessions by Dr. Subhangi. If you look on that Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you will see the focuses of Maslow's hierarchy is on the individual level. But the recent discussion in different literature, publications, etc. on human well-being, we see that needs are highly relevant to organizational levels beyond the individual as well. It is also evident that human well-being has both objective and subjective dimension that both are essential. We will have to consider not only the material and economic needs of the people, but also their spiritual needs, wants and aspiration, their dignity and equity. All these key concepts and ideas of sustainability needs to be integrated in a comprehensive and cohesive framework. That's why 1973, Delhi developed, one of the famous economists, Delhi in 1973 developed a framework widely known as Delhi Triangle, which was further refined by others like Meadows in 1998. So you will see in Delhi's triangle, which is a strong sustainability framework, you will see in that triangle that the natural environment is viewed as the ultimate means to achieve the ultimate ends of human well-being, including equity. Whereas economy, technology, politics, and ethics are intermediate means to bridge the ultimate means and the ultimate ends. The ultimate goal of sustainability is to improve and maintain human well-being. This goal cannot be achieved without simultaneously protecting the Earth's life support system. So it must mean the preservation of the services that we derive from the ecosystem. So the main scientific challenge for sustainability is to learn dynamics of complex coupled systems without compromising their ability to deliver the things that people value. Therefore, here, landscape ecology plays an important role. Recent research has indeed revealed that multiple fundamental life-sustaining processes, including climate change, loss of biological diversity, land system change, and altered biogeochemical cycle that exceed the limits within which human society can safely operate. In face of these unprecedented anthropogenic landscape alterations, it is crucial to understand how to design, conserve, and manage our landscape to sustainably provide ecosystem services that are essential for supporting human well-being now and into the future generation. Again, when we talk about sustainability, you can look into different scale. So, global sustainability can be achieved when you started to act from local level. And so, long-term regional sustainability can only be achieved by integrating context-based substantial sustainability across agricultural, urban, and natural landscapes so as to minimize the regional ecological footprint and make advancements towards achieving the sustainable development goals. Thus, landscape sustainability science has emerged. The landscape sustainability science is a place-based used in sphere science that aims to understand and improve the dynamic relationship between ecosystem services and human well-being. What are the theoretical foundation of LSS? The theoretical foundation of landscape sustainability science is on principles of sustainability science, landscape ecology, on the theory of resilience, and hierarchy theory. Landscape sustainability science embraces and initiates the major key concepts in sustainability science, like it highlights the fundamental role of spatial heterogeneity. It alludes that landscape is the arguably optimal scale to understand the dynamic relationship between society and nature and achieve the sustainability of ecosystem services and human well-being. also stress the importance of cross-scale interaction and feedback for resilience of landscape to environment and changes, and underline the need of adaptive management, governance, and intervention to improve the reciprocal human-environment relationship across scales. We can look at the theory of landscape ecology that followed by landscape sustainability science. As you know, landscape ecology is the science of studying interaction between spatial pattern and ecological process. It also addresses the causes and consequences of spatial heterogeneity, including landscape composition in terms of type and amount, and landscape configuration in terms of safe connectivity and spatial management across a range of scales. Thus, landscape sustainability science builds upon the concept, theories, and approaches from landscape ecology, but shifts from its traditionally more ecological focus to the dynamic of socio-ecological system. We should understand this. When you talk about landscape ecology, that talks about pure ecological perspective. When you talk about landscape sustainability science, in landscape sustainability science, the landscape ecology principle is used, and it focuses to the dynamic of socio-ecological system. It focuses on understanding how ecological consequences of spatial heterogeneities like species, community, ecosystem function cascade to the effect of the human well-being. For example, basic material, freedom of choice, health, social relations, security, inequality, as well as impact of social change to natural system. So, on this premise of this landscape sustainable science framework, landscape patterns not only affect the biodiversity and ecosystem processes that underpin the production of ecosystem services, but also the demand and use through the flow of ecosystem services. Follow the basic foundation of this landscape sustainability science, the resilience theories. When you talk about resilience, it was originally defined in ecology as the capacity of a system to absorb external stressors or disturbances without changing its fundamental structure and function, or shifting into a qualitative different state. In the first few decades, especially as you know, after Rio 1992, the concept of resilience has expanded from its original focus, means ecological focus, to the social ecological system and sustainability, in which it addresses the system's abilities to self-organize, adapt to change, and make the transformation. This landscape, when you look at resilience in landscape scale, it highlights the critical importance of spatial heterogeneity and spatial interaction among complex adaptive systems for overall resilience of system to external drivers of change or disturbances. In essence, resilience or landscape resilience is an inherent property of a complex system, and thus is non-normative, may not always be desirable. For example, sometime we will find out that poverty trap as an undesirable resilience of that complex system of nature-society interaction. And if you look this landscape sustainability from normative point of view, it has specific sustainable outcomes. For example, if you look to SDGs that seeks to address the major challenges facing human society while ensuring human well-being undiminished and the earth system undegraded. So, hence the key to achieve landscape sustainability is building and fostering desirable resilience of landscape. For example, through landscape design, planning and management that tolerate disturbances or adapt to change in ways that continue to provide ecosystem services and support human well-being. So, we will see the target and indicators which is related to this, the interrelation in different SDGs. Hierarchy theory. As we know, landscape are mosaics of landscape. As you know, landscape are mosaics of landscape elements in which people live and work, and through which the processes from local to regional, then global scales are biophysically, social, and economically linked. From this perspective, the landscape sustainability science is well suited in place-based research for achieving sustainability that can link local action to regional constraint and a changing global context. Such emphasis on the interaction and feedbacks between landscape level changes and their hierarchical linkages to both finer and broader scales are rooted in the hierarchy theory and are fundamental lens to take in studying landscape sustainability science. Thus, hierarchy theory and the cross-scale interaction are central to landscape sustainability science. We have observed that contemporary anthropogenic forcing is transforming the scales of socio-ecological processes that results in interaction at novel and possibly unpredictable space-time combination. So it is vital to explicitly address cross-scale interaction that encompass both spatial and temporal scales and effects from distant system, that is teleconnection, to better understand drivers and the mechanism of the dynamics between ecosystem services and the human well-being in changing landscapes. So, to generate socially relevant knowledge and impact, it is necessary to sufficiently consider human needs, behavior, and activities throughout the landscape. Thus, the application of landscape sustainable science across landscape in the pursuit of multiple SDGs that include zero hunger, climate actions, and life on land. For example, if we focus on food production, which is arguably one of the most critical challenges for human society, reduce greenhouse gas emission and hold landscape degradation ecosystem service loss. The need is to advocate sustainable intensification for boosting crop productivity, while minimizing environmental spillovers and maintaining fundamental ecosystem services. So, besides meeting this growing demand of food, it is also necessary to maintain fundamental ecosystem services and reduce biodiversity loss on natural landscape. So, in this context, land sparing and land sharing approaches to maintain fundamental ecosystem services. In case of land sparing, which is the land zoning strategy to spatially decouple food production and environmental conservation, which has been commonly adopted by many national governments. The simulated results suggest that improved land zoning can deliver greater environmental benefit and boost crop yield in both developing and developed country contexts. Whereas empirical evidence also supports the effectiveness of land sparing, especially when enforced in conjunction with other strategies such as technological innovation, agricultural extension, payment for ecosystem services. While in land sharing, major emphasis is on spatial coexistence of high yield and high biodiversity in agroecological landscape as an example. Through ecological intensification, that is adding tree cover or pollinator to the agricultural system, and we will find out crop yield improvement with mitigated anthropogenic inputs and enhanced ecosystem services. For example, with said tree cover, that cacao plantation in Indonesia not only demonstrate high yield but also maintain high biodiversity and deliver greater benefit in terms of carbon sequestration storage. However, the practice of ecological intensification has some limitations. It cannot be overgeneralized because its success rests on context-specific knowledge. These are some of the limitations. So, applying landscape sustainability science to the innovative landscape design across different landscapes has huge potential to contributing to food security, greenhouse gas emission reduction, and environmental conservation. It will benefit from this infrastructure institution that facilitate the interaction between scientific research, food production, and environmental conservation. Landscape sustainability science as a framework can be used in either rural or urban setting. At its core is the emphasis of integration across different landscape at a broader spatial context. The strong sustainability perspective suggests that long-term regional sustainability can only be achieved by integrating context-based sustainability in urban, agricultural, and natural landscape so as to minimize regional ecological footprint. These are few of the references which I depend for this presentation and this discussion. So in this session, we have discussed about the interaction between the concept of sustainability and the theory of landscape ecology. Then the new emerging areas of landscape sustainability science from sustainability science point of view and its theoretical foundation, how landscape sustainability science principles, the method has to be applied in bringing sustainability of the entire planet. So it is this is about the importance of landscape sustainability science as a basic tool to bring or to maintain the sustainability of the entire planet. Thank you. We'll meet in another session. Thanks all.